The wind whipped through the emerald canopies, thrashing leaves against each other in a frantic dance. Somewhere deep within the sacred forests of Verdantia, Isla knelt among twisting roots and luminous blossoms, her breath coming in short, awed bursts. A field guide bulged in her satchel, its pages filled with careful sketches and notes on every rare flower she'd found, except the one before her. This blossom shimmered, shifting colors in ways her tired mind could barely describe. She reached for her pencil, but the ground groaned beneath her. Ayla froze, heart thundering. A pale mist crept from the shadows, swirling around her ankles. She should have fled. She should have heeded the warnings etched into countless village stones. Beware the grove of whispers. Instead, something drew her on. Curiosity? Or perhaps, she wondered later, fate. A sharp voice broke the hush. You're not supposed to be here. Ayla sprang to her feet. A boy about her age, cloaked in patchwork maps, stood just beyond the ring of uncanny flowers. His finger traced the air, and a faded chart snapped into being with a whisper of parchment. If you value your life, follow me, now. Behind them, the blossoms began to weep, blue nectar pooling around their roots. The mist thickened. From its depths rose an echo, older than memory and colder than stone. Show me your badge, Ayla demanded, feigning boldness she didn't feel. The boy shook his head. No time. You've touched the veil, and now it's waking. The mist curled in, brushing her skin with the chill of worlds unmade. Ayla hesitated, then lunged after the stranger as his map twisted open, revealing a path no mortal eye had ever seen. As they plunged into the foliage, the echo grew into a voice, promising ruin if they faltered. Only when Ayla dared look back, she saw it, a shape in the mist, vast and watching, hanging between this world and another. Whatever she'd awakened was coming for them, and all of Verdantia might soon pay the price. The path the mapmaker revealed vanished behind them the instant their feet left the grove. Ayla stumbled, clutching a mossy trunk for balance, her mind spinning with dread and wonder. The magical path twisted impossibly, cutting through thickets she'd never seen before. The boy, intent but not unkind, rushed ahead, glancing back only once she caught up. I'm Bram, he said quietly, voice rasping over the word like a secret. You heard it too, the Veiled One. Ayla's thoughts tumbled. What is it? Is it alive? Bram nodded, lips pale. Alive and very hungry. Legends say the Veiled One feasts on the space between worlds. That flower you touched was its eye. They pressed on, the woods alive with strange bird calls and unseen animal scurries. Ayla's every sense screamed that something old and wrong stalked just out of sight. Overhead the sky dimmed, emerald leaves filtering silvery light. Their path curved, leading to the edge of a shattered stone arch, half swallowed by twisting ivy. Bram paused. We need help. At that moment, a laugh echoed from the ruins, a sing-song voice as airy as dandelion fluff. A glimmer zipped between beams of sunlight, coalescing into a figure barely the height of Bram's hand. It hovered, wings sparkling like morning dew, grinning with dangerous amusement. Lost are we? The spirit teased. Or chasing things you shouldn't? Bram lowered his map, wary. We woke the Veiled One. Verdantia may fall unless we mend the barrier. Will you help? The spirit's smile faded. Only if you pass my test. Outwit me and I'll lend you my magic. Fail and you never leave these woods. Ayla squared her shoulders. What's the test? 1,000 tiny mirrors shimmered into being above the spirit's head. Find the truth among the illusions. Only then will you see the right path forward. Bram pressed a hand to Ayla's shoulder. Stick together, he whispered. She gulped, nerves and determination battling inside her. As the shifting mirrors cast their world into 1,000 fractured colors, Ayla realized this was only the first of 100 dangers. Still, she pushed aside her fear. She was no hero, just a botanist. But every story started somewhere. The world reformed in swirls of mirrored light and vertigo. Ayla blinked, heart hammering. The spirit's trick had tangled reality. The archway, the ruins, everything split and multiplied endlessly. Bram reached out, steadying her as a dozen false Brams flickered at the edges of her vision. Don't trust what you see, his voice echoed from several directions at once. The spirit hovered above, watching with keen, mischievous eyes. There are 1,000 paths, one leads you onward. Choose poorly and you'll wander lost until the Veiled One claims you. Ayla swallowed, focusing on the ground. Roots twisted into impossible shapes, beckoning her towards one of the countless mirrored arches. Logic failed her. Botany, though, Botany was order. She searched for a clue among the mirrored chaos, then gasped. In every reflection, the forbidden blossom shimmered a different color, except for one arch, where it was the same shade as the one she'd seen in the grove. "Bram, here!" she called out. She pointed, hand-shaking, at the arch with the silver-white blossom. "Are you sure?" he asked, his face both tense and hopeful. "It's the only one that feels real. Life has rules, even here." Her voice trembled, but she stepped forward anyway. The ground steadied, the shifting lights dimmed. One by one, the false worlds shattered like glass, their shards dissolving into sunlight. Bram stood at her side alone now, relief etched deep into his features. The spirit's laughter rang out, surprisingly gentle. "Impressive, little leaf," the spirit conceded, bowing in midair. "You saw through the illusion. It takes wit to survive the veil." The spirit spiraled closer, offering a tiny seed glowing with faint blue fire. "My magic, use it to see what the eyes cannot." Isla cupped the seed in her hands, feeling a warmth seep into her chest. The spirit's challenge had rattled her, but also filled her with a new, wary confidence. She glanced at Bram, who managed a crooked grin. "Not bad for a botanist," he said. Their victory was short-lived. The trees shuddered, the distant mist thickened. The Veiled One was hunting, and it was closer now. "Let's not waste your luck," the spirit urged. "The next trial won't be so kind." Together, the unlikely trio vanished into the depths of Verdantia, toward greater darkness than any of them could have guessed. Mist lapped at their heels as the three travelers pressed deeper into Verdantia. Isla clutched the spirit's seed, using its subtle warmth as her anchor against the growing cold. All around them, trees knotted into uncanny shapes, their leaves whispering in voices that almost seemed intelligible. The spirit's magic shimmered faintly, allowing her to sense outlines of hidden dangers lurking in the undergrowth. "Where are we going?" Isla asked, matching Bram's hurried stride. "We need the Elder Map," Bram replied, darting glances at the shifting shadows. "It shows seams between worlds, cracks that the Veiled One might exploit. There's only one keeper, and he's difficult." The spirit snorted, wings flickering. "That's one way to put it. Old Goric never did like company." Before Isla could answer, the ground quaked. Roots writhed up, ensnaring her ankles and dragging her to her knees. Bram lunged forward, hacking at the vines with a pocket knife, but the forest pressed in, gnarled limbs reaching hungrily for the newcomers. "Goric!" the spirit shouted, their voice ringing out like a bell. "Stop scaring the guests!" A figure emerged from behind a mossy boulder, hunched, draped in layers of bark and fungus. His beard, a wild thicket of lichen, twitched as he squinted at Isla and Bram. "I know you," Goric grumbled, gesturing with a staff that oozed sap. "You've woken what should never wake. Why should I help him?" "Because if the Veiled One crosses over, none of Verdantia will remain," Bram replied firmly. "Not even your precious secrets." Ella added, her voice soft but steady. "If you can show us the way, I can fix what's broken. I didn't mean to make things worse." Goric's eyes glowed green, measuring the pair. "So the girl admits fault. Well then, prove your worth. Survive the crossing to my hollow, and the map is yours." With a wave of his staff, the ground yawned open, revealing a spiraling tunnel lined with pulsing roots and flickering lights. Bram hesitated, but Isla, heart-pounding, stepped forward first. She was tired of running from her mistake. Now she'd face it, even if it meant venturing into darkness. As they descended, shadows closed around them. Above, Goric's laughter mingled with the creak of ancient trees. Isla carried the spirit's magic and her own fragile hope into the unknown, determined to earn her chance at redemption. The tunnel throbbed with faint green light, casting Isla and Bram into wavering silhouette. The spirit darted ahead, chasing firefly motes that buzzed warily around Goric's labyrinthine hollow. Roots twisted strangely in the walls, forming archways and doors that shifted positions whenever Isla blinked. "Stay close," Bram whispered. "These tunnels will trick you." Ayla gripped the blue seed tighter. Each step deeper into Goric's lair felt heavier, limbs resisting forward motion as if the air itself grew thick. The passage forked into three, all flickering with ghostly images of their own group hurrying along just ahead. "Which path?" Isla whispered, glancing at Bram. But it was the spirit who answered, their voice a little strained. "Let the seed guide you. Place it on the ground and watch." Hands trembling, Isla crouched and set the warm seed between the roots. It glowed brighter, rolling a few feet before nestling into a clump of moss to the leftmost path. Isla scooped it up and led the way, not daring to make a sound. Deeper in, voices echoed, soft at first, then clearer. Twisted memories and doubts surfaced around every corner, echoes of Isla's childhood, reminders of every time she'd failed or been told she wasn't enough. Bram stiffened, clearly hearing his own private shames. "Ignore them," he muttered, his jaw clenched. "They're only trying to wear us down." A thicket of thorns blocked the path. From atop the bramble, Gorik's eyes glinted in the dark. "You come seeking redemption, but do you really believe you can fix worlds?" Isla wiped away a tear, spoke with a wobbly voice that steadied as she continued. "I don't know, but running made things worse. I'm here now, and I won't stop trying." Gorik seemed to consider this. Then, with a grudging nod, he struck his staff against the earth. The thorns shrank, revealing a hollow chamber glowing with golden light. The elder map hovered midair, alive with shifting lines and glowing runes. "Take it," Gorik said, voice softer. "But know this, every map shows two paths, the one you wish for and the one you need." Isla stepped forward, feeling both frightened and stronger. Bram squeezed her shoulder, pride and relief mingling on his face. The spirit smirked. "Told you she had spine." Yet as Isla touched the elder map, a chill swept the tunnel. The Veiled One's presence surged, twisting the shadows at the cavern's edge. Hard-won victory, she realized, had only opened the next deadly door. Frost swept through Gorik's hollow, dimming the golden light. On the walls, the roots curled back and dripped with silvery hoarfrost, proof that the Veiled One's touch was near. Isla clutched the elder map, its surface rippling with living lines. The spirit hovered protectively over her shoulder. Bram at her side, his eyes fixed on the shifting runes. "Quick, what does it show?" Bram whispered, his breath fogging in the freezing air. Isla stared at the map. Two paths shone, one wound through a valley of shattered mirrors, the other climbed a perilous ridge studded with thorny nightshade. Before she could speak, the map shuddered, and a shadow slithered along the ceiling, long, eyeless, and impossibly thin. "Isla," Bram hissed, "choose." Panic wrapped cold fingers around her heart. The mirror valley shimmered with fragments of possible futures, her own face reflected hundreds of times. The ridge glowed with danger, but inexplicably, Ayla felt the faint tickle of hope there. "No tricks," the spirit urged, nodding at the ridge. "Believe what you feel, not what you fear." Isla steadied herself, drawing on the warming magic of the seed. "We take the ridge." Gorik grunted, "Braver than most." They plunged into a world of sharp stones and poisonous blooms. The journey was grueling. Nightshade thickets slashed at Isla's skin, leaving burning lines. The spirit buffeted away the worst of the poison, working small, frantic magics. Bram slipped, nearly plunging into a yawning ravine, but Isla grabbed him, pulling him back with strength born of desperation and new confidence. "Don't go! Not ever!" Their teamwork pushed them forward, battered but alive. The Veiled One's shadow stalked them, filling the night with rustling whispers and flickers at the edge of sight. Yet for the first time, Isla did not cringe from the darkness. She pushed back, forging a path through thorns for Bram and the spirit to follow. Finally, at the ridge's crest, the map pulsed and revealed a portal, flickering between worlds. But on the other side, Verdantia's woods twisted into impossible forms, reality already warping. The Veiled One's true invasion had begun. Isla squared her aching shoulders. "We go through together. There's no turning back." She led the way, casting one last look at familiar stars before stepping into the unknown. Stepping through the portal was like plunging underwater. Sound distorted, color deepened, and every breath Ayla drew crackled with chilling possibility. She, Bram, and the spirit emerged into a world both familiar and gravely wrong. Verdantia's grand forest, but shattered and drifting in fragments, trees hanging rootless over bottomless chasms, bits of sky stitched together by spider-thin strands of magic. The ground rippled beneath their feet. Above, the Veiled One's shadow twisted among the splintered branches, stretching long fingers towards reality's fraying seams. Isla gripped the elder map, which now glowed a warning red. "Is it stronger here?" Bram asked, voice barely above a whisper. The spirit shuddered. "It feeds off instability. The longer we linger, the weaker the barrier becomes." Isla studied the map. New symbols now shimmered. A ghostly warding circle in the heart of a shattered grove. "We need to restore the ward," she said. but we'll have to pass straight through the Veiled One's hunting ground. Bram's hand shook. It's looking for us, isn't it? Yes, the spirit said, eyes narrowed. But you have something it wants more. Choice. Hope. It can't make those, only devour. A shriek ripped through the air. The world warped, the path stretching into a thin ribbon over darkness. The Veiled One appeared ahead, a mist-wreathed figure crowned in thorns, its face a tangle of misery and memory. Mortals, it hissed, a chorus of lost voices pouring from its shadowed mouth. Return what you stole. Ayla stepped forward, courage trembling but present. We woke you, we'll fix it, but we won't give in to fear. It surged, slashing the ground with shrieking wind. Bram staggered, nearly pitchforked by splinters of black glass. Ayla pushed him behind her, calling on the seed's magic to conjure a protective glow. You cannot seal me without sacrifice, the Veiled One whispered. Which of you will be left behind? Bram caught Ayla's arm. Ignore it. The ward, focus on the ward. With the spirit guiding her hands, Ayla stepped into the broken circle of runes, her voice clear in the cacophony. Together they began the ritual, betting everything on the hope that unity, not fear, would restore what had been lost. But the Veiled One coiled nearer, and the world itself began to unravel with a roar. The ground trembled, and shattered fragments of the world spun wildly around Ayla as she and her companions stood in the heart of the broken grove. The ring of runes crumbled, light flickering in and out of existence. Ayla looked at Bram, his face pale but determined, and at the spirit hovering in frantic circles above them, trailing sparks of desperate magic. Are you ready? Bram asked, voice taut with fear that he struggled to keep hidden. Ayla nodded, though her heart stuttered in her chest. We have only one chance. The Veiled One lunged, darkness swirling behind it like an endless storm. I offer mercy, it cried. Leave this world to me and you will be spared. Ayla planted her feet, feeling the magic of the blue seed blaze within her. You can't tempt us. Verdantia belongs to hope, not despair. The spirit shot to her side. Quickly, recite the renewal. By root and leaf, by tear and will, let boundaries mend and time stand still. Ayla shouted the words, Bram and the spirit joining their voices. The runes flared, shaking the grove with blinding light. But the Veiled One hammered the barrier, its essence clawing through the cracks. A spectral wind sucked at Ayla's limbs, cold and relentless, trying to pull her out of the circle. Bram's grip steadied her. Don't let go. The map bucked in Ayla's hand, the path spiraling. It showed not escape, but a sacrifice. The seed's magic giving its last spark to seal the tear. Ayla's breath caught. If she gave up the spirit's gift, she'd lose her only protection. She looked to the spirit, whose eyes brimmed with resolve. Use me, the spirit whispered. I was born in the crossing. I can live in sacrifice. The veil needs hope, not certainty. Tears stung Ayla's cheeks. Bram squeezed her hand. It's the only way. Gritting her teeth, Ayla pressed the seed to the ground at the circle's heart. The spirit embraced her, then burst into 1,000 shimmering motes that whirled out along the broken ward. The rift screamed, closing inch by blinding inch as the Veiled One howled and recoiled, black tendrils shriveling in the new-made light. Ayla sobbed. Bram hugged her, anchoring her to what was real. The world steadied, colors resolving, boundaries stitching together with every spark of the spirit's brave farewell. Yet as the light dimmed, the Veiled One lingered, diminished but not defeated. Its final threat echoed on the wind. The veil thins, mortal. This is only the first breach. The true cost of victory and the path ahead were about to be revealed. Verdantia's forest slowly reforged itself, colors brightening, mists fading, but the wounds of its near unraveling still marred the land. Where the Veiled One's touch lingered, leaves bore dark, weeping scars, and the air buzzed with uneasy silence. Ayla, Bram, and the hollow left by their lost spirit companion regrouped beside the half-mended ring of runes, exhaustion heavy in every limb. Ayla knelt where the shimmering motes of the spirit had vanished. She pressed a palm to the ground, feeling only the faintest echo of magic. Do you think? Could it ever come back? Her voice trembled. Bram's hand rested on her shoulder, steady yet gentle. Maybe someday, or maybe it became what it always needed to be, part of Verdantia itself. But you helped it choose, Ayla. That matters. She managed a small, determined nod. Around them, the elder map flickered, showing the mending threads between worlds, but also shaded places. The barrier was healing but fragile, A deep unease settled in Isla's heart. The Veiled One's not gone. We fixed the breach, but it warned us. There could be more. Bram bit his lip. What if another rift forms? What if next time there's no map? Or no one left willing to try? Isla's gaze hardened. Then we make sure we're ready. We learn everything these lands have to give. No more secrets. No more forbidden groves. We help others see what's at stake. From the shadows, Gorik shuffled forward, older and wearier than before. The Veil will always test us, he rumbled. But so long as there are those willing to protect it, hope survives. Magic and will bound together. A breeze swept across the groves, carrying a single glowing seed, neither spirit nor flower, but something new and brimming with gentle light. Isla watched as it settled at her feet, realizing both cost and gift. She knelt, cupping it gently, a small smile brave on her lips. We carry their legacy, and this time we do it together, out in the open. Bram nodded, hope rekindling in his eyes. We'll train the next guardians, mapmakers, botanists, spirit-bonded, all who care for the Veil. But as they rose, ready to face the uncertain dawn, a shimmer in the deepest shadows caught Ayla's eye, a thin, pulsing line in the fabric of the world. The Veil might mend today, but darkness was patient. Their journey, Verdantia's journey, was far from over. Now, a new chapter needed to be written, not just by Isla and Bram, but by every guardian the kingdom could muster. The true final stand, where all hope and all odds clashed, loomed just ahead. Dawn broke uneven and raw over Verdantia. The mending woods breathed deep, every branch and root whispering a wary song. Isla and Bram gathered beside the fresh-blossomed seed, their small camp encircled by the kingdom's newest hope, the beginnings of a new order of guardians. People arrived from distant glades and mountain passes, tattooed ward-keepers, star-eyed apprentices, even cautious elders shedding suspicion for solidarity. Each soul bore the memory of the near cataclysm, and a hunger to defend their world should the Veil tear again. Gorik's presence became their touchstone, his deep voice steadying the uncertain, while Bram's maps transformed into living tapestries that charted not just the land, but also rifts and potential danger. Isla, once just a botanist, was now a symbol. Her stubborn heart, her mistakes, and her triumphs inspired even Verdantia's most skeptical to join the cause. A council convened beneath the ancient heartroot tree. Isla laid the newly glowing seed within the ring of runes, its light pulsing in harmony with every vow spoken. We survived because we faced our fears, she declared, voice carrying over the crowd. But survival isn't enough. We must lend courage and wisdom to the generations ahead. The Veil is not a wall, it's a living promise. It calls on us to care, to learn, to protect together. As she spoke, her eyes traveled to Bram, who nodded back, a mixture of pride and lasting awe. Beside them, the map shimmered, showing the boundaries healing, new guardians appearing like sparks all across the land. In the hush that followed, a delicate shimmer flickered at the edge of the grove, a fleeting glimpse of the spirit's smile, as if to say, hope had returned, and so perhaps one day would they. The shadow of the Veiled One lingered, no longer an invincible terror, but a darkness held at bay by united hearts and careful hands. Its threat would never truly vanish, but its power now faced something even more relentless. Humanity's will to stand, to mend, to grow braver with each new challenge. And so, as the Veil glowed with light and possibility, Isla stepped forward, no longer an outcast or underdog, but the first among many. She looked into the future unafraid, ready to face whatever shadow might come, as long as hope and community walked beside her in Verdantia's hallowed green.